something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
This was a fork in the road of human civilization.
Bloody hell, it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
It's bloody hot. We're just right now on the brink of a storm that's coming through. Thank God. Hopefully that'll calm it down. And we've had a few issues just in the last half an hour or so that have meant I'm going to have power supply problems probably very shortly. I'm watching my battery gauge as we speak. So the gerbil has decided to give up the ghost, I think, at this stage. My generator is currently running, but it's not charging anything that it should be charging. I did try at some stage this afternoon while the thermometer said it was 39 degrees outside. Inside the bus, it was over 40. And I thought, I'm going to get that air conditioner going, see how that goes. So I put the generator on, got the thing going, ran okay for about an hour, and then everything stopped. Everything turned off. And now nothing seems to want to do what it should be doing, particularly when it comes to the charging side of things. So I don't know. Generator's running. We'll see what happens. But I might just be wasting fuel at this stage. At any rate, the show will be shortened because we do have that thunderstorm coming our way very shortly, and I want to get outside and have a look at the generator while there's still a little bit of light, and might have to pull the awning in, which most of you will be pleased to know, I guess, that I've been brave enough to hang out, because for a long time I certainly wasn't. I hope you are well. I hope you've enjoyed the last couple of nights' shows, and for those of you who have decided to participate, then congratulations. Thank you for your involvement. The organisers will be very pleased, I am sure, with what's going to happen on February the 8th. Now, it's important to remember that's just an indictment process, and take that for what it is. There is no trials set for that day, and as far as I believe, the trials are a date to be announced in March. And I think we need to be a little bit careful about those trials going forward and how things play out. Need to be very careful in the wording that's being used in maybe the indictments, and if there were a trial or any finding of guilt, what the consequences would be. You could find it could be reversed, very quickly. So the situation, I mean, not the decisions. So, yes, there are still many hurdles, many bridges to cross, and the people involved are much smarter than me. I'm just lucky enough to be able to tell you about it as life, the universe, and everything goes forward. I'm lucky enough to be invited and bring some cameras and talk about it a bit. So we'll see what happens. Thank you to everybody who has reached out and said they'll see me in Canberra. Yep, you will, but only if I get enough fuel to get there. And hopefully it's a little bit cooler there, because at this juncture, might need a new generator in the bus, or at least a foofer valve for it, because maybe we foofed the foofer too hard today and the valve's gone for the final time. At any rate, that will be a journey for experience later tonight, and I'm sure tomorrow. I haven't even bothered looking at what the weather's like tomorrow. For those of you in America, our temperature range today was, when I posted up the show, it was 29 degrees Celsius, which is a bit over 84 degrees Fahrenheit. And during the day, it was 10 degrees Celsius higher. I didn't check what that would be, but I guess that would make it somewhere around 100 and something. So anyway, bloody hot. And where I am particularly, there is an element of humidity as well. So everybody suffered. In fact, some good friends here on the property decided they'd go and camp out in the middle of a small river, which seemed to go pretty well. The dogs involved loved it, and so too did the bodies that also attended in this form. I keep trying to steer away from words like humans and people, because they actually have ulterior motives or ulterior meanings, as we all know. So I don't want to insult those in the audience that are aware of that. I've just got to get used to the terminology in my head and see how it all goes forward. Anyway, good evening to you all. Life, the universe, and everything is hot, moving along, and thank you to John and Dan who are going to pop along today to have a bit of a look at the bus. But well, we had a bit going on here today, and unfortunately couldn't make it. We will figure that out for another couple of days hence. Thank you, Aussie Sue. God love you. Yes, please, folks, please like and share. We need all the help we can get getting the message out here, and only you can help us do that. And if you are watching this, please leave a comment if you can in the show afterwards. Tell us where you're coming from, where you live. Tell us how you feel about life, the universe, and everything now that Donald Trump is back in charge of the USA, and some are saying the world. Can he rightfully take claim to take responsibility for the settling of certainly the hostage issue that seems to have gone on in Gaza now for God knows how long, 700 and something days, and the first 3 or 4 prisoners came out just before his inauguration, just in time for a very sleepy old man to try and acknowledge that he, in fact, was the reason that there was peace in the Middle East. Nothing could have been funnier, but there you go. Who else is in the room? Sandy K. God love you, woman. I hope you are well. Good evening, Harm. I hope you are well, Michelle. I hope you are good too. DM is in the house, as we all love to see. Alan, you're very generous with your comments. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, and thank you. What can I say? I'm humbled by them. There's that Mondater is in the room, so too Dusty. Hope it's been good down your way, Dusty. Dusty might in fact be at, I don't know how dry it is down your way. I know it has been dry in the past, and it could be very dusty. Maybe that's where your name come from. Anyway, we won't puddle around too much longer with where your name comes from. Paul Orchard, nice to see you, mate. At some point in your history, I'm sure there were orchards in your past. On Red Alert, how are you, bud? And who else have I missed here? Andrew D. Smith. Good to talk to you. Connie, hello, gorgeous. I hope you are well, and your other half is well as well, doing all the things that you do so well, like travel to Thailand. Well, you'd be used to the heat. Today wouldn't have killed you. You'd be fine, Connie. Look at that. I'm talking about Connie, and I haven't even bothered putting a comment up. So there you go. Hello, Connie. I look roasted. Yeah, I reckon that's a pretty good term. I have been out in that heat, not so much this afternoon, more this morning until a bit after lunch, I suppose, around 1 o'clock. I came in to try and put some stuff together here and discovered that well, inside the bus was hotter than it was outside, to be honest. So, and I had all the windows open. Things should have been blowing through. The door was open. But yeah, stinking bloody hot. So I have a little fan that is kind of USB operated and sits down here beside the computer. And the computer and I share it. So it gets a little bit of air, and so do I. It, on the other hand, today was just pushing hot air. So above me in the roof over there is a big air conditioner, which I'll be honest and say I've never tried before. Working off the generator. I've plugged it in when I've been on shore power, so to speak, but I'm not on that at the moment. And I thought, well, we'll give it a go. So we turned that on, and it worked brilliantly for an hour. And then all of a sudden things went, boo. The generator kept going, but now it doesn't seem to take any load. So we'll have to have a little bit of a consequential think about that. So consequently, yes, bit roasted. And the reason the show started a bit late is because we've been running out trying to source an issue with it for the last half an hour or so. So it's still rather unpleasant out there. Storm is coming. Wind is coming. I need a steam engine. You're bloody right about that, Paul. Steam engine would be good. Pity the generator doesn't run on the hydrogen system that Tim has put together. It's quite tragic, but anyway, it is what it is. And as Taylor pointed out to me, these things do wear out. You know, the parts on these things do wear out, and God love the old bus. She is turning 25, and I'm pretty confident this generator has been with her the whole time. So, yeah. Anyway, I haven't got much of a show for you tonight, folks, to be honest, because, I was going to put a great deal of thought and wit and wisdom into tonight's show, but the day has led me astray in such a way that I haven't really been able to get very witty or wisdomy. I will show you something that I did find today, which gave me a bit of a giggle, and I'm hoping it does the same for you. If you're familiar with dipshits, this should ring pretty true.
Observes the jackass, visibly distressed. This dumbass has been ousted from the White House. He is now relegated to the role of an onlooker as his nemesis assumes command. Adding to his torment, he finds himself seated beside the cackling dingus, a dipshit, chosen in the name of diversity, whose presence now looms as a haunting reminder of his defeat. Although the jackass and the dingus are not alone in their defeat at the hands of the Donald. This crowd appears to be a veritable congregation of losers. In the second row sits a shriveled bag of sphincters, known to the world as Killary, with a long history of getting her ass kicked by the Donald. And so all we can do is observe in quiet amusement as this gaggle of dipshits gazes on in collective defeat. A fitting spectacle, perhaps, for the ever-turning tides of political fortune. Here's to the rallying cry that echoes through the ages. Make America great again.
There you go. It begins, and it certainly has begun in America for many illegals. First day on the job, John Trump has sent out the border czar, and he has sent his teams out and targeted what they consider to be the most dangerous people to the community that have been let over the border. They have a list of those people because, well, turns out somewhere along the line the people at the border were taking names or IDs and having a vague idea where these people were going. So they may have a starting point for many of them. And I expect you're going to see arrests overnight tonight. If you haven't already seen them, I'm not watching mainstream media, but there has probably already been public arrests, and expect a great deal more of them. Trump is also saying, a great many things on many topics, all of them backing up what he's been saying through his campaign and his executive orders that he's been signing since he basically set foot into the White House. I am informed that there are going to be executive orders involving actions to other countries that we will learn about inside the next week or so. I asked whether or not those actions inside other countries could include Australia. I was told possibly, but to immediately think of places like South Korea. So there has been a bit of shit going down in South Korea. If you're unaware, the Premier or Prime Minister of South Korea called martial law unexpectedly and illegally / unlawfully. He called that so that a certain vote could not be held, which would have, I believe, seen him in some sort of drama with courts and disappearing monies. The country was shut down briefly under his martial law order before that was rescinded by the full government who came in, took control, and the Prime Minister did a runner. Now, I think they've since caught him, but he's refusing to cooperate and let them know why he decided to put the country on martial law. So John Trump may have something to do with South Korea, given that he's such a good mate with old mate from North Korea. And he's been exercising every time he can mention Kim Jong-un's name and North Korea. He does, and he mentions how good of friends they are and yada, 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 yada. So the inference is that the South Korean Prime Minister was a deep state operative and was enacting martial law for a nefarious reason. That nefarious reason you may be aware of. I'm not, because I wasn't really following it. But if that is the case, it does make life a bit interesting. Australia, on the other hand, there is talk that all Five Eyes nations, that's the intelligence security agency network they have, Five Eyes, America, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. There is talk that everywhere outside of, I beg your pardon, including the UK, what happens in America over the next couple of weeks, what happens in the financial systems in the next month or so, is going to be repeated in the Five Eyes nations. So the price of gold and silver at the moment, let me just have a quick glance over here. I can tell you, Ainsley Bullion, God love them, $4,394.42 is the spot price for gold right now. And I've been watching the silver spot price, not that I've got any money to buy any, but I really hope you have been. Right now, $49.36. Now, it has been over 50. It's been as low as the mid 47s, and that's been going up and down and up and down and up and down over the last couple of weeks. We keep saying the bubble has to burst and the market has to burst before the silver bubble can burst. Donald Trump is now in power. He is making all sorts of threats against BRICS, alluding that they are trying to bring down the American dollar and bring down America. Well, it's not so much bring down America, but certainly bringing down the American dollar as the world denomination of choice. And they've already started doing that. And Trump isn't going to be able to reverse that in any way, shape or form, I don't think, unless he is also another deep state plant somewhere along the line. And let's not discount any of that. And I mean that quite seriously because, well, when you see things like this at his inauguration, now that's Eric Trump. He looks very uncomfortable. That looks like a very deliberate move. It looks to me like he's trying to show somebody that he is doing this, making sure they're looking. Watch his wife. She's tapping him. Hang on. Yeah, what? Don't do that, honey. That's enough. All right. Okay, good. Righto. I'll just put him down again. Does that look as sus as shit, or is that just me reading too much into it? And I'm sure the haters out there are going to tell me it's me reading too much into it, but my gut feeling tells me that's not right. And that's what? Number 2 son. I also have questions about Barron, don't we all? Barron apparently is going into the real estate business with a university or college mate of his. They have formed a business in July of last year and are about to embark on their first property, whether that be development or renovation or just ownership or whatever, I don't know, in New York City. There'll be no way you won't see him coming, walking down the street, that's for sure. I haven't got any sort of facial analysis, skeletal analysis, facial recognition, identification kind of software. But I do have 2 eyes, and I like to think a questioning brain. I can't see a drop of him or her in the genes of Barron. I mean, the guy's a giant, nearly 7 foot tall. I'd be, yeah. And he's quite the ladies' man, apparently. Well, you wouldn't be too unsurprised about that, I guess. So, yes. All right. Let me go back to the chat and see whether or not you guys have got any questions tonight. Have you had any questions after the last couple of nights' shows? Did you find them interesting? Are you coming to Canberra? Please answer in the comments later if you're watching the show after it's gone out live. And anybody who's in the chat, I'd love to know whether or not you've decided whether or not you're going to come to Canberra. I'm going to need to shoot off in the very near future because, well, there's a couple of reasons. I've got an old mate with a sore knee that I'm going to have to go and stick another X39 patch on before he goes home. May have to shave his leg. I get to use my Gillette Mach 3 razor.
Can I go a bit higher?
He just asked if I could go a bit higher. For those of you unsure who and why I would have a mate, that's Dwayne, who you have seen on the show previously. Poor bugger's hurt his knee rather badly, so we'll stick an X39 patch on it. And as by the looks of it, the hair on his leg is like the wire that he uses on the fences that he makes around here. We may have to use a chainsaw rather than a Gillette Mach 3. He also happens to be my best, safest chance of getting the generator working again to a point where it's charging. And I'm quite serious. I'm looking at the indicator on my battery now, and it is dropping faster than a bride's nightie on an appropriate night out on the town. So I'm going to get out of this. The X39 patches sound expensive, says J1. Look, I guess, yes, they can be expensive. You get 30 of them, so it works out about a cup of coffee, the price of a cup of coffee for each patch. If they work for you, then and anything else you've got that you're taking are either really high dose pain medication stuff, the opioid type medications which knock you out or make you a zombie or make you just dribble a lot out of the corner of your mouth. And you want to get off those, like my friend Carol did when we first put the X39 patch on her. She was trying to get off the morphine tablets that she was taking, and the X39 patches not only helped her get that shit out of her system, but helped her repair her ability to walk, her ability to sleep, her ability to have a flexible moving back again. And you can go back and have a look at the videos, of Carol and the amount of surgeries that she'd had on her back. We show all that. It was rock hard. And those X39 patches just did amazing things for her. And I'm looking forward to seeing her and her hubby, John, next time I'm down in Victoria, which, God willing, will be after the 8th of February. That's what I'm looking for. The X49s are coming to Australia soon. You're right about that, Sunflower. And they are, from what I'm told, another stunning advance in the technology. So if you think of the X39 patch as a general patch, one that, works for most ailments, good for everything, but not specific issues, then that's the best way to look at it. The X49 takes that another step further. But there are other LifeWave patches, and I'm not sure if I did the show with them on or not, but when my tooth first started playing up and abscess started happening and all that kind of thing, there was a lady who just happened to be here for another reason, doing some feng shui, but not in the bus. She was a LifeWave participant as well, and she had every kind of patch that you can get here in Australia, including the CineWave one, and I forget now, there was another patch. So I actually wore two of them on the affected part of my jaw, which was inflamed, swollen, felt, if I'm honest, like an abscess, and overnight killed it, all gone. Didn't have to worry about it until a couple of days later when the thing really wanted to fall out of my head. But that was not an abscess. That was a whole other issue, which we fought through with the help of some of you. So thank you so much. A patch party can be a bit too expensive. Yep, they can be. So they're not for everybody. But if they work for you, then great. If you can afford them, then great. I know people who buy them and give them to others, like, I'm trying to think of his name, and he probably wouldn't like me mentioning it if I did, so I won't. But I know a gentleman in Queensland, in central Queensland, who buys 30 patches a month just to make that little donation a month to me through the donate process or through the commission process. And what he does with those, he doesn't use them for himself. But over the course of the previous month, he finds people who are in pain in his friend group or their family group or whatever, and walks around, offers them 5 of these patches for free. Here, take those, wear them for 5 days. Now, if they haven't worn it or put a patch on within 2 days of him saying, well, here they are, try them, he goes back and gets them. He leaves them with 1 and says, I need the others for another reason. You're obviously not using them. So try that 1, and then takes the other 4 away and goes and, I assume, palms them off to somebody else who's in pain. He says that 99.9% of the time, the people that he's left the 1 patch with put it on then because they're embarrassed because they haven't tried it so far, and their pain is gone within minutes, hours, or a day. The next day they wake up and they feel fine. When it returns is when their interest returns. Have you got any more of those patches? Oh, no, well, I gave all those ones away. But you can buy them here and give them the link that you all get as part of this. And my link is the one down the bottom. So if you want to try the X39 patches, all the other ones, you can buy them through this link. And if you want to make a small donation, it is a small commission that we get out of every sale. But I can tell you, we're not living the life of royalty here, and that the commission checks aren't rolling in Mercedes-Benzes. So, it's great that we've got a lot of people that are involved, and a lot of people are using this as a business. You can make money out of it because it seriously does work. And once people experience it, and I say again, not everyone gets the same benefit. Some people get none whatsoever. I feel that's just a tragic injustice. But for whatever reason, some people, be that mental, physical, or whatever, don't get any benefit out of it all. But in my experience, and I've handed out over 300 of these things, in my experience, the overwhelming majority of people, and I mean 96+%, have very, very positive reports after trying the patch for 24 hours. There is a percentage of people it just doesn't work on, and I don't know if that's psychosomatic or what, or if it's just genuinely the patch can't help them, and I'm sure that is the case in some cases. It just makes me sad that that is the case, because I've seen what a difference it makes to people who have been in diabolical pain with their back, with their knees, with their shoulders. And these patches make immediate, lasting change. And why do they do that? It's because they are ignited by the energy that's coming out of your body, the heat energy that comes out of your body. What that in turn does through the patch is excite the copper peptide production in your own blood system. Now, what does that do? Well, copper peptides are what produce your own stem cells. And as we get older, we age, we obviously have a lot less copper peptides running through our blood system or our bloodstream than we were when we were much younger. So what the X39, and my understanding of the X39 patch does, is it gives the copper peptide production system in your bloodstream a bit of a kick in the bum. And when I say a bit of a kick, it supercharges it. So that's why the patches are designed to be worn 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And you put your used patch, if you've got an old dog that suffers from arthritis or other things, same for a cat, throw it in their bedding, right? Use it in their bedding and watch them improve. Carol had a 15-year-old dog with sore hips and had given up going to walk to the gate. And so had Carol, by the way. The gate was about 500 meters from their back door. After wearing the patches for a couple of days and throwing the used ones into her dog's bed, both she and the dog were back walking to the gate and back every day. So it has an effect on animals as well. But don't put a full one on a dog or a cat, for that matter. These things are designed for your or a body's, human body's production system. There I go saying human, but there you go. Not so much in animals, so you'll really overstimulate theirs. So that's why they say 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And if, well, of course, these patches still have a bit left in them at 12 hours. So put them in with the dogs. If not, you can leave them on for 24 hours, but then you give yourself 24 hours off. That would be my other advice for that. But yeah, well worth trying. Well worth trying. Tomorrow morning, we're going to have a show. I think it's going to be live at this stage. It'll be 9 a.m. New South Wales Victorian time. It'll be 8 a.m. Queensland time. Guru and I are getting together for a bit of a chat, and we will discuss what's going on with the indictments that the corruption whistleblower crew are pushing forth with. And we might talk a few other interesting bits and pieces as well. I'm hoping, I haven't mentioned yet, and I haven't seen this person pop up in the chat in the last couple of days, but we might also have a chat about this. If you're unaware of what this is, folks, it turned up in my email the morning of Donald Trump taking control as US president. And it is claimed that it's been put out by Australia One, the birth of the Constitutional Republic of Australia. One country, one people, one flag. I can support that statement, absolutely. Accompanying this in the email, in the body of the email, were the words, "This is included in the first 20 executive orders. I shit you not." That was the quote, "I shit you not." I think it said that. If not, he meant something like that. If that is the case, there's been a lot more than 20 of them signed, and we haven't heard one whisper of this. And in fact, I think he signed, how many did he sign live on stage? It must have been a number resembling 10, at least. None of those would have affected Australia in any way. Nothing that I saw him sign an executive order on stage after his inauguration would have had anything at all to do with Australia. Maybe the next 10 did, but you said it was on the first 20. So I don't know. We've all been wrong. I understand your enthusiasm. But Guru and I tomorrow morning will be, I have no doubt, having a little discussion about that. It could prove to be very interesting and enlightening for that matter too. So I hope you can come along and join us then tomorrow morning. It'll be an early one. I will at this stage, the intention is to do it live. If there is for some reason, an outstanding reason why we can't do that, and that might be power at this stage, then I'll figure something else out. I might have to pack up the old girl here, and I don't mean the bus, I just mean the computer, and head off to a place where I can get some mobile coverage and do the show from there. But we'll endeavour to get that for you, 9 o'clock New South Wales or Daylight Savings Time, and Daylight Savings East Coast Time, and 8 o'clock in Queensland. Hope you have a bloody good day or a bloody good night. Enjoy it. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And those dickheads, well, you know what to do with them.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's rock!